Hi everyone, Jeri Bellini here. Welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about some of the suggestions that came from you guys, the community, about doing a dot a day. And there was a lot of wonderful suggestions. So I thought it was worth making another video to share them with you. Now, if you want to do your dots with a needle turn applique, I do have a video on how to do that. The link is in the description box below. This video and the one I did last week on the dots. If you're finding that the needle turn applique isn't working for you for whatever reason, we did get some other pretty interesting suggestions on what to do. So I'm holding one of the suggestions in my hand, and that is using a pinking shears. And that is just a pair of scissors. I'm sure everybody knows what a pinking shears is, but I'll show them anyway. That has the zigzag teeth, and you just cut around there, and then you don't have to turn that under, and they actually look pretty cute. So that was one of the suggestions. Another suggestion was to use felt or wool, and I suggested t-shirt cloth last week. You don't have to fold any of that under. You can just cut your circles out whatever size, and you can just stitch them down and decorate them however you would like. So I thought, those are great ideas. Another one that I thought was really interesting, and it came from Barb. And forgive me, I don't remember everybody's name who made this suggestion. But this one stuck in my head because as a former quilter, I'm still a quilter, I guess, I did this a lot because I did a lot of applique. And what it is you cut out a cardboard template. Okay, now this is just a cereal box, and yeah, it happens to be yellow. It was Cheerios. And I did use this circle template. So let me just move those out of the way. I did use the circle template to cut this out. And then what you want to do is, so this was, let's see, it was this one. Okay, so it was this one right there. So then you want to cut your cloth out bigger than that with a nice seam allowance around it. So I would suggest this one. So you see it's more than 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to use that one and a pencil and just draw in there. And you can absolutely eyeball this. And you could use bottle caps and stuff like that I had mentioned last week. And then you could eyeball this bigger circle. So let me just get this out of the way. And I like to cut my circles out with a pair of scissors that have a bend in them. So this actually is a dog scissors to cut dogs' bangs, or to give a dog, like a little bit of a rounded cut somewhere on their chin or whatever. This is another pair of rounded scissors, and I think these are manicure for doing your fingernails. So I'm going to use this bigger one because this is a bigger circle, and it just cuts around. And you're supposed to keep your scissors, when you're cutting a circle, keep your scissors in the same position and move your cloth or paper or whatever it is you're cutting. And I don't know if you can see, but I'm a little outside the pencil line. And it doesn't have to be perfect either because of how we're going to do this. So now the next thing you're going to do is take a needle and some thread, and I'm just going to use this embroidery floss that I had handy so you can really see what I'm doing. And you're going to just do a running stitch around the outside edge. So bear with me. And I can't believe the awesome feedback that I've gotten on these dots, because since I did them already once before. But I do have a lot of new subscribers, and some of you, or many of you, said, yeah, I did the dots the last time, but I didn't finish them, and I'm going to get them back out. And they were all excited, and I'm so pleased. They really are such a fun, relaxing, low stress thing. Like I said, if in the first video, you can make 4 dots, you can make 100 of them, and do lots of different things with them. All right. If you're in my Facebook group, somebody posted a photo of something they did the last time I brought the dots up, and they put it, they made a little wall hanging and they put it on a dowel. It was so cute. I loved it. So if you're in the Facebook group, please share all kinds of stuff. Share the cloth you're using, share your dots when you're finished, etc. So, all right, now I've gone around there with a little basting stitch, and you see how it's cupping. So now I'm going to put this in there. And I have a hot iron right here. All right, so now you pull it, and I used to use this technique all the time because I was a very big appliquer, and I did little tiny cherries and stuff. So you want to try to get it so that it's even, you know, the thread is even around there and even from the edge. And then put your hot iron on there. And of course, you know, I'm going to tell you to use spray starch. So, and you don't put a knot in the end of this thread. You just want to get the crease in there. So I have my little thing of spray starch here, and I got a better brush this time. So let me get a piece of cardboard. I don't want to get spray starch on my ironing mat, although I'll get a little bit on there, but I don't want to get gobs of it. So I'm going to really get this wet. And since we're talking about spray starch, that was another suggestion. So I'll just pause for a second. If you don't have spray starch, you can make your own. It's 1 tablespoon of cornstarch to 2 cups of water. It's kind of like making gravy, right? So you do that, you mix it up, and then you boil it for 1 to 2 minutes. It probably wouldn't hurt if you boiled it a little bit longer. And then let it cool. I did go on the internet and I Googled a little bit more to get a little more information because I wondered, you know, how long can you keep this? Well, you can keep it in your refrigerator, but if you put a teaspoon, this is going to sound crazy, if you put a teaspoon of vodka in it or vinegar, it will stay longer. I don't happen to have vodka in the house, so I would have to use vinegar. And then keep it in the refrigerator. And when you go to use it, you have to shake it. Make sure that you shake it. Somebody did suggest that you put it through a sieve too to get out if there's any little lumpy clumpies from the cornstarch. So I thought that was a fabulous idea. So now I've got the spray starch on there because I've been caught many times with not having my spray starch or going to use it and the tip on the can broke off. So you're going to iron with a hot iron, and I'm using a dry iron. Okay, you want to get a nice crease in there, and just, it's hot, so I'm just going to let it cool off for a second. And it's still a little damp. I did go a little crazy with that spray starch. So then we're going to slide that out of the cardboard, and you're going to wind up with this circle already, and you're ready to just stitch it down onto your background. Now, I do find that once in a while there's like a little point here or there, but when I come around to that, I'll just take the stitch right there at that point and just pull that down. Okay, and when I sew, all right, I'm just going to do a pretend thing. When I sew, I always go a little bit under. I don't go like out here. I go a little bit under and then reach up and grab. So see how I went right into that point? And then, all right, I'm just going to keep going. And this is crazy because this is attached to the other thing. But then when you go down, and again, I go just slightly underneath it. I'm just going to do that 1 stitch. It actually, now if that was matching thread, you wouldn't see that, but you see how it got rid of that point? Yeah. It looks amazing with matching thread. All right, so now let me get rid of this. So now once it's dry, you want to make sure it's dry. It really is stiff. Then you just want to open that up. and pull this out, the cardboard out. And you can reuse this cardboard several times, probably more than several times. Now, I really got mine wet, so it starts to get distorted. But if you don't saturate it like I just did, you can use it over and over again. So now look at that. So now what I do is, once I take it off, I do turn it like that, right side up, and I give it a little press. Come on. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so that, thank you, Barb, for reminding me of that beautiful process. All right, here's another idea given to me by LJ. All right, so now, and this is reverse applique, and I think it was Rachel that said the cornstarch. Forgive me if it wasn't Rachel. All right, so now this technique is going to be reverse applique. So here's my square. I'm just using a scrap, so it's not tucked under like most of my dots are. And here's my circle that's going to go on there, right? Well, it's not going to actually go on there. So I drew with my circle template, I drew a circle, and now I'm going to cut that circle out, and I'm just going to poke a hole with my seam ripper to get it started. And then I'm going to cut this out. Brian has to sharpen these scissors for me because these are like really, I don't know. I have another pair of these rounded ones and I couldn't find them. This is painful. I'm going to use the dog ones. They're much sharper. Now I'm going right on the pencil line this time. I'm sure there's even more ways to do this than I'm even going to mention here. All right, so now let's just turn this as the right side. It doesn't really matter. You know me, I use the wrong side of the cloth all the time. So now the next thing you're going to do is cut little clips into there. Like, well, when you're sewing anything that's on a curve, you do that. Okay, I'm not going to go all the way around because this is painful for you, I'm sure. So now I've got those little clips in there, okay? This is going to go underneath. Now, make sure you cut your circle big enough that you can see how big it is, so that you can put like a little applique pin in there. I think you could even use a glue stick, and that would be my idea. All right, I'm losing track of where I cut them. All right, so now you're going to take your needle and thread. All right, I like to use this DMC. It's machine embroidery thread, but it's really fine. You probably can't see it in the camera, but it's a really fine thread, but it's strong. And this is what I like to use for applique. Let me leave it there, DMC embroidery thread. So I have a fine needle with a piece of the thread in there, and I'm just going to do reverse applique. And so I'm going to tuck this under. Let me see, it's going to be hard for me to do this and show you at the same time. But you're just going to tuck this under and stitch it down. And you're just going to do a little bit, of course you got to come from the back. You're going to just do a little bit at a time. And when I do needle turn applique on a curve, I take little tiny stitches. So you do need a good light. And a sharp needle. Okay, so that's all you're going to do, is you're just going to keep pushing this under and you're going to just keep stitching all the way around. So that's another option. And of course, I'm not going to stitch all the way around because that would be very painful for you to have to watch that. So that's reverse applique. And as I said, I wouldn't be against putting some glue on there so the pins wouldn't be getting in my way. So that's that. Someone suggested that at night their eyes get tired. So I wanted to show you two things, or tell you one thing and show you something else. It was suggested by one of our viewers that it's not a bad idea during the day when you can see really well to thread up, 10, 12 needles, more if you want to. And it actually makes me kind of crazy to have all these threads in my pincushion. It just makes me crazy. So I did this quite a few weeks ago. I took a piece of, this is a magnet back here. So I took a piece of magnet and then I took some wool because needles really like wool. It keeps them sharp and rust free. And I just keep my needles when they have thread in them. I keep them in this thing. I just put them in there and they're all going in the same direction. And I have a file cabinet next to my table, and so it's metal, and I just put this on the file cabinet, and it keeps them tangle free and handy. So that was a wonderful suggestion, I thought, to thread up a bunch of needles during the day when you can see. Or, if you have company and you want to get them to do it for you, that's an awesome idea as well. So I'm finding this magnetic thing to be amazing. I think that was it for the suggestions, and I hope you found something that I just mentioned useful. Please do share your dots. I would love to see them. You can email them to me, recycledparts4art, the number 4. My email is down below. And of course, you could always join the Facebook group and share your dots in there. It's a very low-key group. It's not like a lot of stuff in there all the time. People come on and post pictures of what they're doing here and there, but it's not something that's going to take up a lot of your time. And it is inspiring. All right, that's it for now. Just remember to keep moving, just play no rules, and find something to be grateful for today if you're able. And I will see you again soon. Bye for now.